Hello, 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 Crossroads, witches and other interested magical beings. We are doing another session of painting and magic. I just got a little note. Someone reached out. Here, let me sit this over here. To me, asking about sacred space and casting circles. And I was sitting here painting, because y'all know I'm down to the trim on this side, and I'm going to get it set up. And while we're, of course, painting on it, I'm saying good words. And that, do I want to cast a circle? Do I want to create sacred space? Is there a difference? Is this something you want to do for your space? I was just sitting here marinating, formulating, meditating on it all, thinking about it. How words fuck us up. That's what I realized. All right? Because when you cast a circle, you create sacred space. But there are other ways to create sacred space. Prayers create sacred space. Energy creates sacred space. Treating a place with reverence, honor, respects creates sacred space. I think when casting circles, which is a very ceremonial, magician, neo-pagan, Wiccan thing, it was something that, was brought about mostly by that resurgence of magic. Let me turn here. Where when the Wiccans, several books came out, you have to cast a circle, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh my God, I have to cast a circle for protection. Now, the other side of that is the folk practitioners who don't cast circles, but create boundaries. And that's why we have so many workings in which got a spot right there. Got it. In which are orientated towards not so much like excluding everything, but setting a boundary. When even in, for me, when I'm doing workings and, I welcome all who wish me well. I welcome all who seek to aid me. I put a condition, I set boundaries on it. I just don't say, hey, y'all, everybody come in. And I think that's where some of the confusion comes about. Where people are like, oh my God, I gotta, cast a circle so that way I'm protected. Okay, if that's how you feel you need to do you, boo. Do you, boo? You know what I'm saying? Cast that circle. Within folk practitioners, it would be a different mentality. You would be going in saying, that it's not so much I'm worried about anything that doesn't wish me well, because I've already told it it's not welcome in this space. I've already made sure to create a space that is protected. Trickster spirits and all this stuff, I think is a lot of keep the fear alive, where they're like, oh no, you must be so careful. What if they come in pretending? How do you know it's the real thing? Well, I've already set that energy. I've already set that space. Conditional. I've already said, if you don't wish me well, you're not welcome here. Ooh. All right, I got to get my pad. Y'all got to wait 1 second. I do have to actually edit. All right, I'm back. I had to flip out my paintbrush to an edge brush. But where was I? Casting circles, creating sacred spaces. Circles came about with high magicians who were commanding and compelling. You know, when we get into Cornelius Agrippa and the 3 books of occult philosophy, which is the foundation for modern Western, another spot, occultism, that's where they cast a circle of protection. And the reason they're cast, let me move here. Ooh, we got close, didn't we? And I'd like to say, as we're doing a real close-up, you look mighty fine today. Mighty fine. So, let's get back to who this Cornelius Agrippa was. He was a magician, occultist. He studied all sorts of mystical magicals, and he wrote this book. Or he wrote several books, actually, 4 of them. They're called the 3 books of occult philosophy, and it breaks down high magic, ceremonial magic, and also dealing with commanding and compelling. That you are coming here right now and you're doing what I say. And I don't care if you don't like it or not, you're still going to do it. That's commanding and compelling. And obviously, if you do that to someone, something that don't want to be part of your game, you're probably going to need you a circle of protection because you done pissed it off. So, this is where casting circles of protection come from within the Western magician side, Western magic, okay? And that has its roots going all the way back down to the, I'm thinking the Egyptian books of magic and everything else, where we get into commanding and compelling. You need to cast, I think there's one work in Agrippa does where he casts 9 different circles of protection because he knows he's going to piss off what he's calling in, He is going to go get him one of those high-ranking demons, and he's going to make it do his bidding. Again, you need a circle of protection for that one. All right. Now, that idea was brought into the Wiccan neo-pagan space. That you must, these circles of protection. And I think over the years, more folks have got a little smarter, done their own research, and realized, if I'm not commanding and compelling, I just need to be setting strong boundaries. That you can't come in my space if you don't wish me well. All right? I only want the ancestors who want to see me succeed come into my space. Does that mean one of those other ancestors may try to come in? Probably not. They're not welcome. I've never had that sense. Sometimes I think some of the new stuff out there is so fear-based, and I don't understand it. Especially, I'm a Crossroads witch, all right? I do not make deals with the devil in the crossroads, but I damn sure dance with them, all right? And after 40 years of me haunting places, I've only had just a handful of that hair on your back where I just didn't feel welcome, or I felt like the energy was shifting in an unwelcoming way. And as soon as I felt that, did my prayers, said my things, backed my bum right on out of there is what I did. I just stopped doing what I was doing. Nothing followed me home. I wasn't possessed. The family farm didn't burn down. I got no Hollywood stories to tell you. All right? Because a lot of that stuff, that's exactly where it is in Hollywood. It ain't real life. They just ain't doing that, y'all. And so, get the fear out of your practice. 98, but it's like going anywhere. I think it's like going to the mall. 98% of the people in the mall are really going to be nice and helpful. Yeah, there's a couple of shitheads. There's always that 2% rule of shitheads. And the trick is to learn to realize who the shitheads are. And again, you let them know you ain't welcome in my space. So, now let's flip over to that sacred space I was talking about. Sacred spaces are typically fed. First thought on that would be a church. It's fed. It's fed with prayers. It's fed with folks' energies. And that's what keeps the sacred sacred. And I've had the privilege of being in some old churches in Ireland and England. I got to go to St. Bridget's Cathedral in Ireland. And on the back side of it is a temple that is an older prehistoric temple. It's really, the whole place is just beautiful. All I can say is it just vibes so beautifully. And even today, they're leaving like little offerings over in the remnants of the temple wall. And when you walk into the church, it just feels beautiful. That's all I gotta say. Beautiful. That's one of those places where you walk in and you're getting that now I walk in beauty feeling. And that's because those folks created that. And that's what we do with our altars. They become sacred spaces where we have said our prayers. It's being fed on a continual basis. And that within itself protects it. The energies of the divine, the goddesses that you are giving honor and reverence. I hope y'all can hear me because I'm turning away from the camera. I probably ought to shift y'all to, let me finish this little section. But your prayers are what protect your altar. You don't have to cast a circle around it with nothing shall come in here, you know. And we got to be careful with some of those circle castings where you're like, nothing shall come in here. And then you do your little thing and you're like, it feels flat. I wonder why I didn't have an experience. Well, that's because you kicked all the interest in spirits and energy folk out. You done barred them. You said you can't come. So really think about your words, your sacred space words, your circle cast, or if you're even going to do a circle cast. You know, the Neo-Wiccan circle cast is beautiful, all right? Doreen Valente, ooh, we're back, we're close again. But Doreen Valente wrote a lot of the stuff that is used out there, and which is sad that we don't give more credit to her, because she was actually the architect of the original Wiccan Book of Shadows. What started it all? Very interesting, very interesting. And her, you know, circle casts, go back and read them. She also, what is it? The black spirits and white, red spirits and gray, hearken to the rune I say. And then the original prayer of the goddess. It's easy enough. Google it. That's what I'm going to tell y'all to do. All right, let me flip y'all over here because I'm getting ready to shift because I got to paint that way. But I want you to rethink about circle castings. Here we go. You can see what I'm painting down here. Yeah, I got to see. So I got to paint. Ooh. That worked well, didn't it? Too funny. Because as we know, I don't like to edit, so you get to watch me do some crazy shit. Honestly, I just don't. To sit down and edit, I got too many things to do, and like I was saying, I really don't consider myself to be a content creator. I did try doing it for a little while, and I enjoyed it, but as far as what I do, I guess what I do, my profession, what I do for making money, and how, you know, we do things. We have slowly, my husband and I have been together for 34 years now, and we have worked really hard, and we have real estate. We own 5 acres, 25 minutes from downtown Charleston, and we have 2 rental units on it. And I am currently also, it's a secret, don't tell anybody, but we're developing a small venue, a small space for folks to come celebrate whatever moment they're having. The goal of the space is for it to be all-inclusive, to welcome all celebrations. And we are hoping probably about a year, realistically, y'all, for the gathering area to get finished. That's why I'm working so hard on this cottage here. You know, the last time you saw me painting, I was in the apartment where I am now waiting for the electrician to come and do my hood panel for me. And then we can go in, sit that up, and that becomes a 30-day midterm rental. The space I'm currently sitting in is the cottage. I've shown a couple little blips of it. This is the one that has the loft with the rainbow stairs. And this will become a short-term rental by springtime. And we also use it as a friends and family guest house. So it works really well for us. And in the summer, we're currently working on the driveway and the fencing over on the other side that I haven't shown you all yet. We are going to be pulling in a vintage camper, and that will become another short-term rental. And then, as I said, we'll have the event space, which will be set up as an intimate event space. That means small gatherings. And ideally, if it all works, she'll be able to rent the whole site. My husband and I also live here. We have our own place at the other end of the barn. We live in a split plan with a breezeway. My living room and kitchen's on this side. Then you walk across the breezeway to the bedroom, my boudoir. And I'm absolutely loving it. We decided we were going to downsize. And that was a big thing, was that I wanted no stairs, 1 story. I want to age in place. I want to be able to eventually have a manager manage the business side of it while I sit on the front porch. So that's our long-term business plan. I don't know why I'm telling you all that in the middle of casting circles and creating sacred space. Well, I guess this is my sacred space in so many ways. And like I said, my husband and I have worked really hard on this space. And that, you know, our dream was to have the beautiful 5-acre farm. Ooh, there. 5-acre farm that is working for us. All right, give me 1 second. I got to shift us all over that way, and I'll finish talking to you for a couple more minutes. All right, I got myself situated. We're back. I got to paint this little section right here. And I got to paint that window you see up behind me. And I got to paint everything over there behind the camera. But where were we? Sacred spaces and casting circles. And do you have to do all of this? And how do you do it? When do you do it? Is there a difference? Now, I'm just giving you my ramblings. I don't have a notes. I don't have scripts. You know, like I said, somebody asked me a question and I started sitting here thinking about it. And then I decided I'd press the button and talk to y'all about it. You know, for me, you've noticed a change in my format where I'm not up in my boudoir with my makeup on, holding notes in my hand. I love doing that. I hope to continue to get back up in the boudoir. But I also realize that right now, I think we need more real-time, real stuff, real life. And that incorporating my content into my life. When, like I said, when I'm sitting here painting, and I'm sitting here mumbling out loud to myself about this and thinking, you know, just different, you know, different things. Y'all know how you sit there in that half daydream. And then somebody, you know, says something and it gets you thinking. And so I hope you're enjoying the new format where you are going to be seeing more and more of my day-to-day, everyday life, and that my everyday life is magical. I don't need to be sitting up in the boudoir. I don't need to be in front of my altar looking all witchy all the time. Although in my heart, I always look witchy. You know, magic is every day. You are the magic. Everything you do is magical. Start using it. I talked about how I like to take my paint and paint sigils and protection symbols and happy smiley face. You know, you can paint all over here and put all sorts of magical, mystical things while you're doing your work. That looks good. Good for me. Now I gotta go paint that window. All right, I have resituated myself with some different painting. Oh, let me flip it real quick and I'll show you what I did. The window is now painted and woo, it was a big day. This has all got its second coat. That's what I was working on earlier, was that baseboard. And slowly moving myself out of the corner across to the loft. I'm going to move y'all over here. All right, y'all, wait a sec here. Okay, so sacred space, casting circles. What's the difference? Should we, do we, how do we? All these questions. Where do we know when we're doing what? And I was thinking more about it, just so y'all know. Do what feels right. Really learning to tune into your own self and making that decision, that moment. Do you feel like you need to cast a circle? Do you feel like you just need to say soft prayers? What do you feel like you need to do to make it a space that you're either going to do magic in, or to make it a space where you are going to connect with the divine energy however you see fit? And I don't think there is like the one we all do it this way moment. And I think those people are looking for, how do I do it? How do I do it? You gotta feel it. That's how you do it. And when you're sitting up your space, what is it telling you it needs done? Just like I said, for me, sometimes I feel like I just hit the zone when I'm dance around a little bit. And by the way, I like black-eyed peas. Tell you that sets mood. That's my sacred witchy music, where I bring up my energy, get my stuff in my space together, and that, how does it make me feel? And do I feel like I need to set really strong boundaries? Do I need to cast that circle? Or do I need to say a prayer with a couple of caveats? Like we were talking earlier about, you know, I welcome all who wish me well. I welcome my ancestors who want to help me succeed in my endeavors. And this is on you, witches. This is on you. But I will tell you this. If you don't cast a circle, you're not going to get possessed. Ain't nothing going to happen. This is not Hollywood. A lot of times, the worst thing that ever happens is nothing. Nothing. You're just like, huh, nothing happened. That's how it feels. All right? No demon is going to rise from the depths of hell and try to carry you away. It just don't work like that. But here is my thoughts on sacred space, casting circles, should you, shouldn't you, when you, and all that other stuff. And I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, witches and other interested magical beings, I'm going to let you go, because I got some painting I got to keep doing. I got to get this place set up. That's all I'm saying. I got to get this stuff. Is all supposed to be done. We were supposed to have this by, our dates are the 1st of February, so I'm getting down to that last, counting the days of 30 days. I'm like, oh, it's getting closer and closer. But February 1st is our goal to have both the apartment and the cottage finished and ready for occupancy. All right. Get out there, witches. Fly those brooms or use those paintbrushes. Whatever works for you. And with that said, have a bright, sparkly day. And please remember, the magic's in you. You already have everything you need. So, fly your broom. All right, get out of here. Yeah, I know. You always wait for it, don't you? Amen, blessed be, ashe, and a bobo.